Sawadee Khap, I'm JP Mestanza. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by PVCPhuket.com. Viral photos of locals in Nakhon Ratchasima province making fun of the lack of urgency of officials to drain an underpass has prompted urgent action. And it reminds us here in Phuket of when locals did the same over unfinished roadworks in Phuket Town. These photos went viral on social media over the weekend. Residents of Nong Sung district are seen chilling in the underpass floodwaters from heavy rain back on October 28th. Even though the rain stopped, the underpass beneath the Northeastern Railway line is still impassable. Fed up resident Jitiwat Nachamsop brought his friend and relative along with beach loungers, fishing rods, floating bed and more to publicize the problem. Well, the State Railway of Thailand noticed, and they're the ones in charge of the underpass. The Bangkok Post says they rushed to the location with water pumps and drained and then cleaned the area. But these photos reminds us of when Phuket Town resident Tawat Chaisali photoshopped some pics of ugly and dangerous sections of unsurfaced road along Rasada and Phang Nga roads in Phuket Old Town, which went viral back in April 2019. Works crews had dug up the road in front of his house and left it incomplete for a long time. And finally, Phuket City Municipality noticed once these photos went viral on social media. And within weeks, the roads were repaired as part of the project to place the communication cables underground. While Their Majesties the King and Queen were at a ceremony to inaugurate a new subway extension in Bangkok, demonstrators wrapped a cloth banner around Democracy Monument with messages calling for reforms. It all took place on Saturday night when reportedly hundreds of demonstrators gathered at the rally, including three groups: the Bad Students, Free Women, and Mopfest. Part of the focus of the protest was Education Minister Natapol Tipsuwan, who they say is not solving problems within the education sector. Demonstrators wrote messages denouncing the Prime Minister and calling for reforms on a banner, which was later wrapped around the monument. Meanwhile, His Majesty the King Mahavajiralongkorn, along with Her Majesty the Queen, were greeted by a huge crowd of yellow shirt-clad supporters at the opening of the Sanam Chai subway MRT station on Saturday, part of the Blue Line extension in Bangkok. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. It's been nearly 3 months since the tragic death of a 19-year-old Phuket Rajabat University student who collapsed while running laps around a 1-kilometer wide pond as punishment for making mistakes during cheerleading practice, and police have yet to conclude the investigation. Pornpipat Min Yadam was pronounced dead at Bashira Phuket Hospital soon after heart failure, according to doctors. And while police have continued their investigation, with even the Deputy National Police Chief saying back in August that it would finish shortly, the investigation dragged to a halt after officers said they were investigating whether or not any charges should be brought against Phuket Rajabat University over the circumstances that led to Nong Min's death. An initial charge of negligence causing death has been presented against a second-year student over Nong Min's death, though police have consistently declined to confirm whether or not that charge has been withdrawn. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Phuket Extra will be back after this.
Join the Race of Legends Laguna Phuket Triathlon on Sunday, 22nd November. Test yourself across the amazing swim, bike, run courses around Laguna Phuket, now including a sprint distance triathlon and the first-time Laguna Phuket Duathlon race.
Welcome back to Phuket Extra. Candidates who have entered the Phuket Provincial Administration Organization PPAO or Obojor election to be held on December 20th have now been warned not to breach any of the campaign rules or else face being disqualified. Registrations for candidates to the first provincial elections in over 6 years since before the military coup, they closed on November 6th with 5 candidates entering the race for Phuket Provincial Association President, the PPAO, and in total, 77 people registered their candidacy for being elected to the PPAO Council. Incumbent acting chief of the Phuket Provincial Administration Organization, Wacharin Patom Watanapong, has announced that he will not register his candidacy to contest the position of president in the upcoming election. The PPAO has been in the spotlight in recent years since current interim President Wacharin was chosen to take over following the passing of previous President Paibun Upata Singh, from terminal illness in 2015, namely a contract dispute with the Phuket Lifeguards services in 2017, in which the budget was quietly cut several years in a row, and lifeguards went on strike in that year in protest, leaving the island's beach safety to non-paid volunteers, or in some places without lifeguards at all, even during the dangerous monsoon season. Multi-year dispute saw a handful of mayors of local beach towns eventually hire their own lifeguards, although restricted budgets made it difficult to provide enough lifeguards to cover many of the larger beaches. The PPAO elections will take place on December 20th. The Phuket Smart Bus is now rolling from Phuket International Airport, beginning today and continuing along its standard route down the west coast to Rawai Pier at the southern end of the island. The service was stopped in March just before the island went into full Tambon lockdown, and all foreign commercial passenger flights were banned from entering the country as a COVID-19 protection measure. The bus service, which offers free Wi-Fi and is air-conditioned, will resume today, but only under a trial period to determine whether operating the service is viable during the current economic situation. There are 13 bus stops along the route with fares ranging from 50 baht to 170 baht depending on the distance. The first Smart Bus departs Phuket Airport at 10 a.m., then noon, 3 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. The first Smart Bus will depart Rawai Pier at 7:30 a.m., then 9 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 2:30 p.m. The route goes along the beach areas including Surin Beach, Kamala, Patong, Karon, Kata, and then Rawai. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. This Thursday and Friday are special public holidays, and we'll see the closing of government offices nationwide, including immigration offices, district offices, employment, and also land transport offices all over Thailand, with main bank branches closing, but branches in shopping malls still open. The special public holidays were approved by the cabinet in September to create a 4-day weekend and help spur domestic tourism and boost the economy. One new COVID-19 case confirmed in Thailand today. It's a Japanese man who arrived on a flight to Bangkok last Friday and tested positive while in quarantine, raising the total for Thailand to 3,875, including cases over the weekend. 95% of patients have recovered. The death toll is still 60. Thanks for watching Phuket Extra today, which was brought to you by PVCPhuket.com. For safe, secure, and soundproof windows, visit PVCPhuket.com. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
The Lagoon Saloon Phuket, the LSP, is Phuket Boat Lagoon's newest nighttime venue catering for all private parties. Get in touch via Facebook to discuss. The Lagoon Saloon Phuket, the LSP, is Phuket Boat Lagoon's newest nighttime venue catering for all private parties. Get in touch via Facebook to discuss.